Hello, my fellow chipmunks. This is Chipmunk Speaks TM, aka Allura Gonzalez, and today I will be divulging on the topic of mental health and trauma. Mental health is a fundamental aspect of overall well being, affecting how individuals think, feel, and act in response to life's challenges. In recent years, awareness surrounding mental health issues has grown significantly, shedding light on the importance of psychological wellness in maintaining a balanced and fulfilling life. One of the most significant factors impacting mental health is trauma, an emotional response to a distressing or disturbing event that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope. Trauma can have lasting adverse effects on an individual's functioning and mental, physical, social, emotional, or spiritual well-being. This essay explores the complex relationship between mental health and trauma, examining how traumatic experiences affect the mind, the different types of trauma, and the approaches to healing and recovery. Trauma is a deeply personal experience, and its impact varies significantly depending on the individual and context. It is generally categorized into three main types: acute, chronic, and complex trauma. Acute trauma results from a single distressing event, such as a car accident or a natural disaster. Chronic trauma refers to repeated and prolonged exposure to stressful events, such as domestic violence or bullying. Complex trauma arises from exposure to multiple traumatic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature, such as abuse or neglect during childhood. The experience of trauma often leads to a disruption in a person's sense of safety, control, and identity. It can result in emotional and physiological responses such as anxiety, depression, dissociation, and hypervigilance. These symptoms can persist long after the event, manifesting in ways that interfere with daily functioning and relationships. The psychological effects of trauma are not only limited to those who directly experience it. Witnesses, even those who hear about traumatic events, can also suffer from trauma-related symptoms, a phenomenon known as secondary or vicarious trauma. Trauma plays a significant role in the development and exacerbation of mental health conditions. Post-traumatic stress disorder, otherwise known as PTSD, is one of the most widely recognized trauma-related disorders. It is characterized by symptoms such as intrusive memories, avoidance behaviors, negative changes in thought and mood, and alterations in arousal and reactivity. However, trauma is also closely linked with other mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety disorders, substance abuse, and personality disorders. Childhood trauma, in particular, has been identified as a major predictor of future mental health challenges. Adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, such as neglect, physical abuse, or witnessing violence, can significantly impair brain development and increase vulnerability to mental illness later in life. Studies show that individuals with a higher number of ACEs are more likely to experience mental health problems, exhibit risk-taking behaviors, and struggle with emotional regulation. Neuroscientific research has provided valuable insights into how trauma affects the brain. Trauma can alter the function of the amygdala, which processes fear, the hippocampus, involved in memory, and the prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functioning. These changes can lead to heightened stress responses, memory difficulties, and impaired decision making. Understanding these biological impacts underscores the need for trauma-informed care and mental health treatment. Despite growing awareness, Many individuals who experience trauma face significant barriers to accessing mental health care. Stigma remains one of the most pervasive obstacles. Many trauma survivors fear being judged, misunderstood, or labeled as broken or unstable, which may prevent them from seeking help. Cultural beliefs and social norms can also play a role in discouraging individuals from discussing their experiences or expressing emotional distress. Economic and systemic barriers further complicate access to care. Lack of affordable treatment options, inadequate insurance coverage, and shortages of trained mental health professionals can leave many trauma survivors without the support they need. In marginalized communities, these issues are often compounded by systemic inequities, including racial discrimination, poverty, and limited access to quality health care services. Additionally, not all mental health providers are trained in trauma-informed care. Without an understanding of trauma's effects, clinicians may unintentionally re-traumatize patients or fail to recognize the root causes of their symptoms. This underscores the importance of trauma-informed approaches that prioritize safety, empowerment, and collaboration in the therapeutic process. Healing from trauma is a deeply personal and often nonlinear process. However, various therapeutic approaches have proven effective in helping individuals recover and reclaim their lives. Trauma-informed care is a framework that acknowledges the widespread impact of trauma and integrates this understanding into all aspects of service delivery. It emphasizes safety, trustworthiness, peer support, collaboration, empowerment, and cultural sensitivity. One of the most commonly used evidence-based therapies for trauma is cognitive behavioral therapy, particularly a specialized form known as trauma-focused CBT. This approach helps individuals identify and reframe negative thought patterns, develop coping strategies, and process traumatic memories in a safe environment. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, is another widely used method that helps individuals reduce the emotional stress associated with traumatic memories through guided eye movements. Somatic therapies, which focus on the connection between the mind and body, have also gained popularity in trauma recovery. Approaches such as sensory motor psychotherapy and somatic experiencing help individuals become more aware of physical sensations and learn to release stored tension and trauma from the body. In addition to individual therapy, group therapy, peer support groups, and community-based programs can play a vital role in recovery by reducing isolation and fostering connection. Holistic approaches, including mindfulness, meditation, yoga, and art therapy, can complement traditional treatments by promoting self-awareness, regulation, and healing. Addressing trauma early can significantly reduce its long-term impact on mental health. Early intervention programs such as school-based mental health services and trauma-informed classroom practices can help children develop resilience and emotional regulation skills. Screening for trauma in primary care and emergency settings allows for timely identification and referral to appropriate services. Prevention efforts should focus on reducing exposure to trauma, particularly in vulnerable populations. This includes implementing policies to address domestic violence, child abuse, community violence, and systemic inequities. Promoting mental health literacy, reducing stigma, and increasing access to resources are also critical components of a comprehensive public health strategy to address trauma and improve mental well-being. In conclusion, the relationship between mental health and trauma is both profound and complex. Trauma can leave deep emotional scars that affect every aspect of a person's life, often manifesting in persistent psychological symptoms and mental health disorders. Understanding trauma's impact is essential for developing effective interventions and fostering healing. By embracing trauma-informed care, promoting early intervention, and dismantling barriers to access, society can better support those affected by trauma on their path to recovery. Ultimately, addressing trauma is not just a clinical issue, it is a moral imperative that speaks to our shared humanity and collective responsibility to care for one another. Once again, thank you for listening to this podcast. If you liked this podcast, please like and subscribe and comment below for more content. Thank you. Have a nice day, good morning, and good night.